Joining us today is Jeff Zbikowski, founder and principal at Los Angeles-based JZA Architecture. Jeff is going to discuss the benefits of having a developer's mindset when working with clients and why ARC firms lose out when they don't have a thorough understanding of real estate regulations and other obstacles. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Jeff, I suspect that a lot of architects, when they're challenged to think like a developer, would say, that's not my job. Why should it be?
Well, I think as an architect, what our role is not just to design buildings, but to also advise our clients. Many of our clients, at least me professionally, are developers. They are in the business to make money, and it would be a big loss if the architect, the advisor, is not pushing the envelope for what the design could be and trying to yield the best results for the particular project and the particular owner. So we've found that it's a really big benefit as architects to understand zoning codes, regulations, and understand what's coming down the pipeline at the city, state, and federal level to better advise our clients that there's extra value out there that they might be missing.
Mm-hmm. What you're describing is, keeping up with regulations is a full-time job. And, so how would you suggest architecture firms stay abreast of changing laws and codes without sacrificing what they do when they're in there normally?
Well, it's a lot of reading. We really meet with a lot of different land use attorneys that are the ones that really have the inside knowledge at the city and state level about what is coming down the pipe. With those initial conversations we typically like to go out and actually read the legislation ourselves and really think about how it might affect our current project set and then the future project set. I think it's really important as an architect to think like a developer. Everything we draw has an impact on the bottom line for a particular project, and it's really important that we draw those items carefully. And you can only do that by really understanding what the project might be and what the project should be based on existing zoning laws and regulations.
Do you have people who are assigned in your firm to do this specifically, or is it the responsibility of all your guys?
It's the responsibility of everyone to understand the zoning codes. But for the most part, it's me. I'm the one that kind of goes out and spends that time to do the reading, to do the research, and I confer with different employees as the projects evolve and new legislation comes abreast.
I see. How did you cultivate this mindset in your firm? I mean, I'm sure that it requires some level of continuous education. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I always felt that, when I was in college and in my early years in architecture, that businessmen were poor architects and architects were poor businessmen. And what I really wanted to do was kind of marry those two together. I saw kind of in my early years working for different companies, I saw firms that were very developer focused and others that were very design focused, and I wanted to blend those two together. I felt that I'd be missing out on a lot if I didn't kind of specialize in both. It's definitely a full-time job, but I think that in trying to teach employees and my to be the best that they can be, they need to understand both aspects. I want my employees to whether they're with me or with another firm, to be the best employees that they could be and the best of themselves. And I try to allow them the expertise in all these different fields.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned that you believe that having this level of expertise, this mindset, actually gives architects a competitive advantage. Have you had experience where that's been the case?
Yeah, I have another number of clients where when a new piece of legislation comes out, I will set up a call with them to tell them about it and say, this is what we should be doing and implementing it. And you can see that the wheels start turning in their minds, and they start thinking about new projects that can come with this new knowledge. And I think in real estate, and it's always about knowing more than the next person and knowing it sooner. So by way of being able to disseminate this knowledge to our clients, we're providing an advantage that hey, we know what we're talking about, and we can give you the leg up. And as a result, they pay the favor back and bring us new work.
Mhm. Jeff, can you give me a couple of examples where a developer, when you're speaking to them in their language, has actually changed his plans as a result of that conversation, or has given maybe a second thought to an alternative solution?
Yeah, and similar to what I just described. I mean, last year there was a number of pretty revolutionary state laws that came out in California that allowed for much greater density in particular areas of the city based on location of transit. So when we first kind of got wind of this, we reached out to a number of our clients and said, hey, we need to stop what we're doing now on this project and reconsider it, because there's a lot of money being left on the table. A lot of it relates to affordable housing. So when AB 1763 and AB 2345 came out in 2021 and implemented in 2022, we kind of got the lead start on that on a few of our projects where
Mhm.
we changed them from being a market rate project to an affordable housing project that would allow unlimited density, and really understanding the zoning that allows for this, as well as the affordability levels, allowed us to gain more projects with this particular client, and then also allow them to build at a much greater density.
Mhm. When you were talking about this, it just popped into my mind. Do you ever get the run into a developer that doesn't like to be told what to do?
Of course, yeah, we've definitely heard that. I mean, most of our work relates to affordable housing, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. So I try to lead conversations with that, saying, I don't know if this is of any interest to you or to your business model, but this is something that we know about, that's other clients are interested in. Would you like to talk about it? And yeah, of course, there's the clients that are very receptive, and they're all ears, and then there's the other ones that say, like, I don't want to touch that. Um, but I do find that many clients sometimes they think they know better, and are a little unwilling to change the process if it's a formula that they've already figured out.
Mhm. Lastly, what are some of the regs, either new or upcoming, that you're keeping an eye on right now?
The big new one is Executive Directive 1. That's a emergency order from the mayor of Los Angeles, really pushing affordable housing and trying to streamline projects through the city that ordinarily would take 14, 16 months and be very costly to developers. These kinds of this particular piece of legislation that allows for a much more just a streamlined approach to the approval process. It's actually pretty incredible to see how the city is actually responding to this. I feel like many of these directives are just kind of a publicity stunt, a sign of the paper, but it doesn't really mean anything, and it doesn't actually become implemented. What I am seeing with ED1 is that the city is actually taking into consideration the housing crisis we have and doing the right thing to streamline projects. Additionally, this piece of legislation also incentivizes private developers to get into affordable housing, which I think historically has not been the case. Typically, affordable housing is tax credit money. It's projects that are publicly funded, and typically more institutional developers, large money pension
Right.
fund developers, whereas the last couple of years I've seen a big change in that almost everything coming in is now private developers, as construction costs and land prices continue to escalate. These are kind of the only projects that really seem to be penciling anymore.
Well, in a state that has 200,000 fewer units, housing units than it needs right now, that's got to be good news.
It is good news, and it's good news for me because that's mostly my business model. So it's been working out well for me in the last few months since that directive came out.
Mhm. Jeff Zbikowski, thanks for joining us and spending a couple minutes talking on the subject.
All right, thank you, John. Appreciate you.
And this is John Caulfield from Building Design. Thanks our audience for joining us.